minutes after that. So in my case, 9:45. Ooh, the content of this meeting is being sent to a third party. We don't know who the third party is, but somebody's listening in. Did you guys get that same pop-up on your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's being the third party is YouTube, streaming on YouTube.
Oh. Oh, here's Bill talking. Again, we have no audio or very low audio.
Coffee and ice cream. We'll get started. And okay.
Hey guys, I'm here. I'll get that fixed.
Anyway,
Kind of walk around.
And we'll see if there's other new people here, or anybody's got an announcement they'd like to make. Anybody here? Everybody deserted this table.
Yeah, it seems we always have to give us Zoomers about 20 dB of gain from what's.
Got a bunch of new members here. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We're working on it.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you very much. I'll pay you later.
Transcriber.
Okay.
She's a great engineer and she'll be an asset to the society.
Thank you very much.
The best, what do you call yourself? Network architect. I can't call you 19.
I think it's coming up, right, guys?
Yeah.
I heard that.
The best, that's a low bar, but you're still one of
No, it's really quite low.
Gee, thanks, Lloyd.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's.
He is much above the bar.
All right, well, thank you.
We're not getting anything from Bill's microphone.
Passed out and fell under the bar.
Okay,
But
we are seeing. Okay.
That'll happen at some point. Oh, okay. Now Marilyn would like to speak about me.
So this guy walked in at Fox, first day. He asked a few questions, and the next day he drew an entire diagram exactly the way that the network was set up for a very complicated.
Okay, that's Bill's mic, guys.
And I was like, I love this guy. So definitely one of the few true IT experts who understood very quickly broadcast.
Absolutely. Both would be assets to society. Vote for them. Vote early, vote often, and they'll be good. We haven't asked any other people, so we don't know. Paul Cohen is eligible. I think everybody knows Paul Cohen, and I don't think he won't tell me that he wants to be. Rich is eligible, but he doesn't want to. He says he doesn't want to be, so that's fine. I can understand that. And those are the four I know, and the other two, I really don't know, so I'm not going to say anything about them.
All right. We'll announce those next month. Anybody else at this table want to house things at Annenberg and USC?
Hi. Nice to see some old friends, colleagues. Hey, Carlos, how you doing, guy? Chris Spicone with Advanced Systems Group. I'm an embedded engineer over at USC's Annenberg School. We have an opening for a manager in our media center. The manager would be lightly managing four staff members, a couple of people who are doing production, one that's doing radio, another one that does long form programming for documentary. I say lightly managing, it's probably a 20-30% max type of a thing where you're basically approving people's time off and whatnot. Person that they're looking for, my client is looking for, is somebody that's hands-on, that's going to be able to basically sit in a TD type chair, go over and maybe run camera shading, have to go out on the floor and be a floor manager. So if you know anybody that's interested, they should go over to usc.edu and they should take a look at opportunities at Annenberg for the media center management position. And if you want to know more, come find me.
Great, thank you. Have you been, I don't know, have you been here before?
No, first time.
Introduce yourself.
No. I'm this man's son. I work at Apple in the Apple Music Radio team, and I'm visiting as a guest today to see what this is all about. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody at this table's got something to say or a question or anything like that? Okay. How about over here? Hey, John.
I am looking for somebody who can train one of my clients on a Grass Valley, Carrera, or Kaleido switchers. I've had a client who's had a sudden change of his personnel. Nothing nefarious, they just all went home. But somebody who can train them on the switcher on production aspects, EMM shows, stuff like that. Anybody got any ideas, get in touch with me. Could really use it. Thanks.
Mike, what's anything new at Keycode? No? No. He's going to get ready for NAB. Maybe. Over here. Belinda.
Hey, I'm Belinda with PIXITMEDIA, and I know I know a lot of times what we do during these moments is we look for jobs for other people, we announce job openings, but I'm here to announce that I have a new colleague who you may know from Seagate, who has just joined Pixit this week for his second tour of duty. He's back with Pixit for the second time, so he kind of must like the product, right? But Laurent will be presenting with me tonight.
Anybody else here?
Hi, I'm Jeff St. Pillen with Keycode Media. Next week on the 28th, we are having the pre-NAB Editors Lounge. So please take a look at our website. You can sign up, come on in, and be there for all the fun. Lots of fireworks last time. So thanks.
All right, last table. Bob?
So we all know that spring was this week, but yesterday was a really big event. And it just so happened to be our president's birthday.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anybody at this table here, announcements? Glenn?
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Glenn. If I can't be your first one, yeah, that's right, at least one Spicone doesn't know me. First of all, a couple things. Any of you knew him from Wexler Video, Gearhouse Video? Anybody who knew Captain Jimmy, Jim Lucas? A moment of silence for Jim Lucas. Thank you. The next thing is I'm looking at a reunion here of This Is the Way It Was. Congratulations, PIXITMEDIA, because you brought a lot of our old folks, old timers back out. So first of all, anybody who ever worked at IDB Keystone, IDB Keystone Globecast, can you just raise your hands? We got a big reunion here. IDB Keystone Globecast, raise your hands. And then those who don't speak French and cannot say le delouette. Anybody who worked at NTC, please raise your hands. We got a couple really nice reunions here. Thanks for coming. Good to have you guys. And now, with no further ado, Tommy Patterson, let's go. Not you, her, you're in charge of this.
No,
you bring this.
You do it. You have the mic.
Come on. So we all know that forever we were at the Castaways, and it was wonderful. And then for a long time, we did the skating rink over there. What was the skating? Pickwick. Pickwick. Don't get old. Don't get old. That's not the right thing to say in this room. And then we spent a lot of time looking for a place and looking for a place and looking for a place. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, we met Dee Dee. Dee Dee has been our bartender since we got here. And I got to admit, as a good Scotsman, I always appreciate the 2-finger pours. Thank you. I was going to sign up and join the Elks, Glendale, but my wife was home every once in a while when I got home, and she said, the last thing you need is another place to drink, and especially not with Dee Dee pouring. We are a very distinguished society. It took me 20 years for you guys to let me in, because the last time I was an engineer, I put a plastic bucket in between two 2-inch quad machines for the Mountain Minute. I'm a salesman, and we don't let salesmen in. Well, you know what? This is a very distinguished engineering. And as I'm looking at like SIG, and I'm looking at Bob Bajork, and I'm looking at Jim Toten and Bidstrip. No, not you, Tom. You really haven't accomplished anything. But other than that, I look around, I go, this is a really distinguished group. Jay Ray has done some stuff in the 80s back when composite became component, and he had to explain why the chromacrawl wasn't there anymore. And they said, no, that's a Betacam level, not SMPTE level. That doesn't work. Thank you, Jay Ray. So it's a very distinguished organization. The society, wrong foot. The Society of Television Engineers, an organization whose membership is limited to tuberculous individuals who are responsible for outstanding achievements in the first in television engineering, bestows a certificate and sincere appreciation, because let's face it, Castaways, Pickwick, we've never had a better bartender. In sincere appreciation to Dee Dee. You're an honorary member of the Society of Television Engineers. It took them 20 years to let me in as a salesman. Dee Dee, we love you.
Well, I'll be here partying with you every once in a while on the other side of the bar. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
She's a member. Thank you very much. Laurent et vous. Allons. He's teaching me French.
One announcement, just because of NAB, we'll be meeting on the 4th Thursday of April, so that's April 25th. April 25th, the 4th Thursday. And so, Belinda, you want to, I'll introduce you. Everybody knows you. I'm going to let you start and introduce your other colleague here, which you've already done. And
You ready? Well, first of all, we would like to thank the entire committee that runs the STE and all of its members who showed up for us tonight to talk about something that we don't really even know what it is. So we'll get this started. Oh, look, it's us. So this is Laurent Lacore, who I just introduced to you a few minutes ago. But when Bill came to me and asked me if we could have a conversation with y'all tonight, we really had to sort of pick our brains and try to understand what it is that the media and entertainment industry is really coming up against. And really what we sort of landed on was that in your pipeline, it demands so many different tools and so much different acumen and different skills and that sort of thing. And everything sort of is a standalone tool. So what we thought that we would maybe talk about tonight is what it means to do integration in your pipeline, whether it's broadcast, post-production, whatever that is. And we hope that this is going to help you understand how we envision the connection of applications within the media pipeline. So really the question is, how do we get there? So let's start, first of all, with who we are. So I think a lot of you know who PIXITMEDIA is. And when you think about PIXITMEDIA, you think about storage, right? Because that's what we're known for. We're just another storage vendor. But really, our storage is actually, it's really unique in the sense that it works with any operating system. It manages SMB, it manages NFS, it can even work with native clients. We have DPU-enabled NVMe, which is different than just NVMe. And the reason that I say that is because our company was bought by a semiconductor company about a year ago. And that semiconductor company worked with us and allowed us to utilize their multi-award-winning data processing units, kind of like GPU and CPU, but integrate them with our NVMe solution. So where the magic really comes into play is in our second product, and that's called Ingenia. Kind of a weird name, isn't it? But it's truly an amazing, amazing product. So Ingenia started with us as basically an HSM. What we wanted to do was we wanted to provide a tool to our clients that would allow them to tier their media on different levels of storage very easily. But now it's totally expanded. It's become a complete suite of data management tools, data security tools, data delivery tools, and collaboration tools. It's, did I say magic? So basically, I want you to remember about Ingenia. The first and foremost thing that I want you to know about it is that unlike a lot of data movers that are out there in our industry, ours is non-proprietary. And you buy it once and you move as much media as you want, as fast as you want, or as fast as your pipes will allow you to move it. And we don't charge you any per terabyte fees. We don't have any data lock-in. We don't have any bandwidth taxes. You just do the work you need to do. So as you can see by this slide, we work with either on-prem to on-prem, on-prem to cloud, cloud to cloud. But the thing that's really kind of unique is that we also work with third-party storage solutions. And we believe in the Movie Labs 2030 process of what it is they're doing. And so we like to say that when you have third-party storage, what we can work on with you is our capability of coming in and creating shortcuts to the media that lives on those third-party storage solutions. And basically, we will pull those into a global namespace. So what does that mean to you and your users? Basically, what that means is that your colorist or your flame artist or your editor comes in the morning and they've got to go work on a project that they worked on 3 months ago. Well, maybe that's living on a warm tier of storage on Isilon. Well, basically, the artist sits down, he calls up Pixstore, and he types in the project that he wants to work on, and he calls it up, and it's as if it was living in the PIC store, because basically the PIC store pointers have gone, they've pointed to it, it's come back in real time, and he can start the session, no big deal. So single namespace with pointers is really, really part of the important part of making your life easier. If you have artists and editors that need access, rather than working on a bunch of storage silos, why not connect them all together? So the thing that we're here to talk about, sorry, I tend to step back. The thing that we're here to talk about tonight is about integration. How do you make all this work within your pipeline, within that third-party storage? So as you know, media and entertainment is application-driven, right? There's this application, that application. Everybody's got a different application. So I think we can probably break it down. Laurent, Laurent, can you help me with this?
Yes. Oh, you want me to take from here?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, hopefully everybody will be fluent in French after that session. Just here, it's more going into the details of what is PIXStore. That's when PIXStore and Engineer, that's when it's really first a file system. That's when you have, if you go from the lower part, and where is the button here? No, here. Yeah, if you go from the lower part, it's you have that layer of storage. That means could be block storage, could be third-party storage, could be cloud storage. Anything that you may already have or we can deliver. Could be also, that's been our NVMe over Fabric, and that we'll discuss a bit more about that. And in fact, I want reverse that what I want team to do first, but that's fine. On top of that, that's when you have to build a file system. That's where the metadata layer come in a play. And those, that's when there is a traditional metadata from the file system that we can carry across all of the different storage platform. And we also can embed it into those files, extended metadata that can come from external application that doing AI on the content and be able, in fact, to bring those extended metadata for search on the content. And then the important part, and that's really most of what we will discuss today, it's that orchestration layer, which is mainly be able to move data across those tiers, creating, that could be between tiers within your same location, or creating also tiering content across multiple sites and cloud. That's an hybrid solution. A lot of people now use cloud for some of your business, but also will leverage local storage for part of your workflows. Coming with that orchestration layer, which is Engineer, that's when there is a lot of different tools that are part of the solution by default. So and it's all of the scheduling rules, migration rules, analytics. That's when there is a very large extent of tools that come with Engineer. But most of our customers, what they do, in fact, you have already your application that managing your pipeline or managing an asset management system that's managing where the data should be and when it should be available for someone. And that's where the REST API and the API come in a play, that it can be dictated by an application and the business needs, not only just generic rules or capacity or time or things like that, but more business-oriented tools that come from your application. And that's where the API integration come in a play. And that API integration, that's been come with, we have a lot of plugins for a lot of different applications, and we'll provide some a little bit later, sorry, a bit later. and also they are documented that you can develop around it if you have your own tools.
So it's one thing to talk about, oh, we can do integration. But it's another thing altogether to actually see, this is merely a sample of some of the products that we've actually performed integrations into pipelines with our customers. We don't do it because we think it would be a good idea. We do it because our customers ask us, can we do this? And we try to help them when we understand what it is, what's the outcome that they're looking for, and how can we help them get there. So it's really important to us that we walk that path with everybody so that we can help them sort of integrate and automate their pipeline so that they can get their media through the pipeline more quickly. And the way that we accomplish these integrations is with our lab. Thank you. With our lab in the UK. And as you can see by this part of the slide here, is that we have in our lab licenses for all the same tools that all of you use. And so what that allows us to do is that allows us to understand the benchmarks and the performance rates and even best practices. But, and here's the icing on the cake, we don't just utilize the lab for our own internal testing. We actually make our lab available to our clients. So if they have Pixtor and they want to do a proof of concept for the integration and they don't want to take their studio or their facility down to try to figure out how is all this working, we can allow them access to the lab and then they can figure out how they want to make it work from there. So I know we all want to get home and we don't want to spend all night talking about this stuff. So if it's okay with you, I'm just going to highlight a couple of the applications that work really well that we have already integrated with. One is Projective Strawberry. Now, why is that important? Well, that's important to the editorial world because those folks that are editing with Adobe Premiere and with Avid, what they like to have in their process is bin locking. Strawberry allows for that. And when Ingenia is sending those files back and forth, there's no unnecessary duplication. VFX artists, promos for studios and broadcasting widely use Flame within their workflow. And what ShotGrid does is ShotGrid delivers those elements to the artist, but you have to have a data manager in the middle. But with Ingenia, you can create the policies so that Ingenia can actually become the data manager who's actually moving the files to the artists that are working on the on the Flame and get them there appropriately. So for the companies that are working in animation, say, ThinkBox Deadline becomes quite big because everybody who's working in animation has a render farm on site, but then they get these big projects in and they just can't seem to get the work done quick enough. So what ThinkBox Deadline allows us to do is it allows you to burst to the cloud. And that way you can just turn on what you need to continue rendering and meet your deadline, and then turn it off when you're done and come back. And Lucid Link is another one. Everybody knows about Lucid Link, but the thing that we know about Lucid Link is that in order to make it work effectively, you have to copy your media when you stream it. But with Ingenia, we are eliminating the need to do data duplication. So we can do the syncing of the media in real time without duplication. NAMs. NAMs are kind of a big deal, and we have actually integrated with several NAMs, but Iconic is one that we wanted to highlight because that one seems to be very popular. And we run natively on Iconic, and that enables the users to get their media to and from without any friction, really. It just works. So another partner, I remember announcing this at STE about 4 or 5 months ago. I think it was right before the holidays last year. And I had announced that we had recently become Gold Alliance partners with Grass Valley. And the reason for that was because Grass Valley has decided that they no longer want to be in the storage business. So they invited PIXITMEDIA to come over and go through some rigorous testing. And trust me, if they were going to put their name on it, they wanted to test it appropriately. And basically, we won that alliance partnership with Grass Valley. So after months and months of intense testing, they decided that PIXIT would be the storage of choice for all of their K2 SAN replacement, as well as integration with their Stratus and their AMP products. So moving this along, I'm going to pass. We know you want to get home. So we're just going to take a few more minutes to talk a little bit more technically about how the integrations work with EVS and Grass Valley. We chose those for you because this is more of a broadcast audience. So we hope we do right by you.
Yeah, I'll take you on like that. I have my notes this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we chose and yeah, let's think. So I pick with the audience here, and bear with me because I've been doing on the post production on data management and storage for quite a long time, but broadcast is quite a new world for me. But I probably didn't take the easiest use case, and we'll see if there is question, if I have the answer. If I don't, we have a specialist on broadcast that will be available during NAB. We picked two use cases. There's been a customer that in UK. So it's an interesting. That's when it's a full integration with the Grass Valley, and that's how, in fact, the story with Grass Valley started. And we leverage that integration around the play out as well, the live and jest. And I'll go a bit more in details on some features that we developed to be able, in fact, to get real time some feed, but as well also share real time those feed for play out or for someone working remote on that content. The idea here, it's that same infrastructure that it's built around the Pixar and Engenia, and it does also apply. Not only on that specific broadcast use case, but also around the post-production, transcoding VOD. That's in every aspect of the business. And I'll let you, I'm sure you had time a little bit to read some information about the scale of that project. Another point that's interesting with that project, it's because Pixar allow to have a global namespace. It's more a collaboration between multiple sites. That was a key part here. It's a different sites do different work. Each site has their local environment to do the work they have to do. But Engenia allow to globally make available all of the content where it needs to be at the time it needs to be. Yeah, that's about RedBee. I'm sure, and RedBee will be. We will have a demo and some more information on our booth at NAB. If you really want to dig a little bit more on that use case.
And now we're going to scare you.
Yeah, that's been the second one, you'll see. I'll make a smaller version of this, but I wanted. It's a large deployment at Sky that we do, and where we use mostly all of the different features of what Engenia and Pixar can provide. I'll go a little bit more on some of the details of those features, but it's really more to really document here that yeah, we can implement a specific workflow that could be for a VFX or very island and small environment to a very large deployment that can take all of the aspects of the business.
So Laurent, can you tell us a little bit about how you put Pixtor and Ingenia together?
Means.
Go to the next slide.
Okay. That's when. Okay, no, I see what you're. Sorry, my bad. That's when here. That's when before getting into going back, in fact, into that use case. That's when the idea is to give you a little bit of information about the different building blocks of PIXITMEDIA, and that's when Pixtor and Ingenia, and like we I described a bit earlier. That's when you have on the bottom side here, that's when you have your block storage. That's when your traditional flash array and HDD. So what's interesting, it's also what we do with that DPU, that Callaway DPU on the NVMe side, and that's really where things now are going more. It's we focus on providing that very high performance storage access with very, very low latency around NVMe over Fabric. And what does the Callaway DPU? It's managing all of the writes because and the protection of the content into the array that manage the NVMe, because that's usually the challenge with the NVMe platform. It's really good on reads, but not so good on writes. Yeah, we do very good, and mostly thanks to that Callaway DPU.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Can you just pull that off the microphone?
This one?
Yeah, just use that.
And use it this way? No.
Give it to her. Yours.
Oh.
No, but I did in my. That's why.
Is it working?
No, but.
Well, we kept bringing it up because it was turned off. Please turn that back on.
And okay, now yeah, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, because I didn't want to have the two microphones at the same time. That's many. So what you have that layer, that's when, and it's really, when I say building blocks, that's when on the NVMe, that's when it's really linear on the performance and capacity you need. That's when you add more as you need. That's when let's say you get 30, 40 gigabytes a second per module, and you add as many, and you just it's linear scalable. Then what you have on top of it, that's when you have that a cluster network that allow the communication between the different components. It's based on the Mellanox and RCOE, that's when the ROCE protocol, which is mainly RDMA over IP, which allows that very low latency communication between all of the different components of the solution. And then on top of it, that's when you have the management nodes that take care of all of the configuration, reporting, analytic. There is a search database that has a knowledge of everything that's happening on a system, and also a notion of plugging, where if you want to have some external, for example, AI, machine learning, it can communicate with those external process, in fact, to get to feed some extended metadata. You have the component of the gateways, which is a NAS, mostly was served the NAS protocol, and it's linearly scalable and can be and also reliable on yeah, let's skip that way. And the last part, Ingenia, which is the data mover. That's when, and same, you can have as many as you want. based on performance or use case. One additional things in that diagram, it's on the left side, it's the native client. That's mean if you take a traditional NAS, that's mean you have the NAS protocol, it's scalable, but if you need a very high performance or latency client, you don't have it. Even if now you can do SMB direct or RDMA over NFS, it's still some challenge to get that, where we have a native client that will get access directly to the storage the same way that all of the component does. It's been for the very high-end, low latency clients. And yeah, coming back to, I tried to reduce a little bit the complexity of the precedent diagram. Here in short, it's you have down, that's been all for that customers, that's been all of the different tiers of storage that they use for the for that deployment that are managed. That's been on top of it. Here, that's the storage node. That's what make the file system. That's been manage the block storage and make the file system and serve that file system over that cluster network, that Mellanox network. And on top of it, in fact, you have all of the groups of business entity that will leverage that storage. It's been if you go on the news side, it's when you have the management node for mostly for getting the reporting and everything. But what's interesting here, it's you have that engineer node with a specific feature, which is the real-time streaming. That's been that name that we gave. That's been it's the ability, in fact, to get the feed from the streaming, the encoders directly into the block storage. That's been, and most of the time now it's an NVMe platform, and immediately make available that content locally. That's mean any work is done with Premiere. That's mean all of the editorial things that are done locally. That's mean they have access to that content, but also that content will be, if they, for example, do some work in a cloud, we can have a PIC store in a cloud running in in Amazon, for example, and they will have immediately access to the content. Even, in fact, if that content is still ingesting, automatically, that's when they will be able to start reading that content on the other side. It could be some latency depending what network you put between, but usually it's less than a second even. It's fairly good. And the file doesn't need to be transferred fully before you can start to read it. We have those gateway nodes, and each department entity workflow can have their own. Could be for security reasons, could be for performance or location. So when they have those gateway nodes that will serve the NAS protocol, and that's what you see. Multiple of them, and dedicated usually to some use case. To go fast, that's been what's interesting probably it's also the last part. That's been another feature of Engineer. That's been it's an Engineer Hub, which with that feature allow you that collaboration between sites. That's been the idea is to make available any content that you have on your local sites based on security and what you want to share, of course, make that content available on another remote site. So by default, it will be just an access, a link, it's been a stub to that content. That's when you may not have access immediately to that content because it may reside on a different site, but you have the view, you can search on it, the application can see what's happening And then that's where you can have your pipeline or someone that make available and initiate the transfer to that content. But the important part is everybody can see the same content at the same time across multiple sites and with very long distance. And I guess that will be the last one. Just quite a recap. That's when PIXITMEDIA, what it is, it's a file system, very high performance, scalable file system. And with the implementation of the Calray DPU, that's where you can get NVMe over Fabric. And it's interesting. I don't know if you follow on the past, that's been what's happened. That's when there was, Accelero was one of the solutions that was doing NVMe over Fabric that got bought by NVIDIA, and NVIDIA usually buys something for their use, and then they kill the commercial part of the product. There is not so much now solution on the market that can do NVMe over Fabric. That's been what you do Flash, usually you do through the traditional NAS protocol, which can go fast, but not as fast and low latency that NVMe over Fabric. The data orchestration piece, we went through that. That's when it's mainly around the management, data protection, data delivery, collaboration. That's when any type of workflow where you want to transfer data somewhere and make available data somewhere else. Another feature we didn't talk about that engineer bring also is the ability to bring some of the storage you have in-house, bring into that same global namespace. That's been, let's say you have a NAS, an Isolon, a Cumulo thing in-house. That's been what engineer can do. It's catalog the content from that NAS or POSIX, any POSIX or object solution, and bringing into the PIXITMEDIA file system as a stub. That's been as an access to that file. That's been now you have one solution that has the view of all of the content you have across all of the different storage. And that's very useful for migration, but also to be able to cover centralizing access to content across multiple platforms. The lab, that's been Belinda gave quite already some information about the lab. What's interesting, it's at PIXIT, one particularity we have, we have engineers that know the different market. If it's we have engineers that work on the sound and know perfectly Pro Tools and all of this application that they can really do those testing and be able, in fact, to help on tuning those workflows. I mean, it's not only we give you a storage over IP and good luck to configure your application. That's when we have experts that can help to tune and configure the application for IP-based workflow, which is not always easy. And that's where we take also that consultative approach, where we really discuss with you all of your requirements, what we do, what you need, and what will be the best way to make it happen. Yeah, that's mostly it.
So, what we'd like to do is open up for some Q&A, if you would like. And I wanted to bring up this slide because we will be at NAB. And if you scan the QR code, that'll take you to our website where you can actually ask to have a meeting with me and Laurent. So we would encourage you to grab a photo of that so that you can maybe scan it and come and see us at NAB at booth SU 4100, I believe it is.
And we do have personnel in that come from the broadcast. That's been word. That's been I may not have the full vocabulary of what you are using every day, and I feel a bit bad because I see a lot of people that know really what they are doing. That's when we have and we will have at NAB someone that can really go deep and explain around broadcast.
So
we
any
escape and work from home.
questions about integration and how it could be helpful in your pipeline? Okay, we can go home. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So we got the audio figured
Thanks
out.
very much.
I hope.
We'll see you next month on Thursday, April 25th. And thank you for coming. Have a good NAB and all that.
Take care. Have a good night, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Audio was great. Thank you.
Terrific. Thanks, everyone.